Hello, the name is Regis Kilbin, and today I'm going to talk about a deck from the professional player Pinpingho, who is famed for his Shaman play. And this is a deck I'm calling the Overlust Shaman. The reason it gets that goofy name is because it kind of combines some components of the normal aggressive overload shaman you're seeing all over the ladder right now, along with some mid-range minions and a little bit of control elements, but finally the finisher Bloodlust instead of just a ton of damage spells like the aggressive Overload Shaman that's so common in the meta. So it's Overload plus Bloodlust. It's the Overlust Shaman. Now this deck does not play as aggressively as the Overload Shaman. You'll notice a Zombie Chow, which you would never, ever put in that face deck, just because you would never want to heal the opponent. But this deck has a similar opener option, like with Tunnel Trog into Totem Golem. And you can finish people off pretty quickly if you draw just perfectly to get Tunnel Trog into Totem Golem, into Feral Spirit, and get a couple burst spells. It can do that, but really it's more of a mid-range deck that's about getting minions out onto the board quickly, keeping those minions there for a few turns, and looking for kills with Bloodlust or even an Alakir plus Rockbiter combo as the game stretches on. So it's not a rush deck, it's really just a mid-range, almost control-style deck thanks to Hex and some taunts and some AoE clears. But really it's primarily focused on board presence and chipping away at your opponent's health to create opportunities in the late game to seal the win. So I don't want to talk about every single card in this list. I'm just going to kind of hit the high points here to describe a few unusual cards and what they're there for. So we already talked about Tunnel Trog and Totem Golem. Those are your early game pressure minions. They just allow you to do some extra damage and get out to a good start and occasionally snowball out of control before your opponent can ever recover. But you have an alternative set of early game cards with Zombie Chow and Haunted Creeper. And these are really just more about slowing down enemy aggressive decks, which sometimes you'll have to do with Tunnel Trog or Totem Golem as well. You can't buy yourself out with burst damage like you can in the aggressive Overload Shaman, so you'll have to focus on controlling the board instead of just going face. So if they get an early start too, trading a Tunnel Trog into a Leper Gnome or something is a totally fine play, whereas that might not be with a face-based Shaman deck. So you have a few early game minions that help you control the board in the first few turns against other hyper-aggressive decks. You also have some taunts on turn 3 with Feral Spirit. But where this deck starts to take a turn is actually with Hex as your 3-mana ultimate removal spell. This allows you to contest late-game control-style decks and even get ahead of them a little bit in tempo because you can kill something really big and scary for only 3 mana, allowing you to gain an advantage in the middle game. You also have Lightning Storm to clean up a particularly aggressive board from your opponent as necessary. You've got Tuskar Totemic, which you don't see a whole lot of, but this just allows you to get 2 minions out onto the board for 3 mana. It's a pretty valuable play. Sometimes if you get a Totem Golem, you can do some really crazy stuff thanks to this card. Getting 6/6 in stats out for 3 mana is often very good. Now, one unusual thing with this deck is there are no 4-drops. There's not a single 4-drop in the entire deck. I question that myself, but this is the list that Pinpingho has been playing, and he is the Shaman God, I think is what he calls himself, and he's certainly a world-class player, so I find that a little unusual, but there are a handful of 2-drops, and you can always totem out on turn 4 as needed, so I guess that's also just because there's so many overload mechanics that your turn 4 might often look like a turn 3. So it's okay that there's the gap in the mana there. Look at that mana curve. There's a lot of 2s and 3s. So between overload and hero powering, I guess the idea is that you can still get something out on turn 4. Shaman is kind of light on good turn 4 plays. Fireguard Destroyer is certainly a decent card. But beyond that, there's not a whole lot of 4-drops that make a ton of sense in Shaman. Defender of Argus potentially, but you don't actually always want the opponent to kill your minions in this deck. You kind of want your minions to survive to set up Bloodlust. So if someone can just ignore your minions and goes face, you might be able to sneak out a win thanks to a crazy big Bloodlust as they're just trying to hit your face. So as far as 4-drops are concerned, it makes sense. There's nothing that looks all that appealing. I guess a Piloted Shredder wouldn't be bad, but beyond that, I guess we'll just make do. Of course, Bloodlust is really the key card in this deck. With so many decks right now that don't always pay attention to your minions, like the aggressive Overload Shaman, for instance, that would just ignore everything on your board. Being able to keep 2 or 3 minions means you can do something like 9, maybe even 12 damage extra in a single turn. And combine that with stuff like Rockbiter or Lightning Bolt, really cheap high burst spells, and you can usually find lethal on turns that no one is expecting it, just because they don't play around Bloodlust. They think they know what they're doing when they're playing against a Shaman right now, because it's all aggressive Overload Shamans, and Bloodlust is the key card that lets you win with this deck. Astral Drake is just there to refill your hand a little bit, and sometimes the spell damage can be very nice with your Lightning Bolt or your Lightning Storm. Dr. Boom, of course, is just Dr. Boom. And Alakir, the Windlord, is really the final piece of this puzzle. He's another way to win games if Bloodlust fails you, or even if you have Bloodlust and manage to keep him on the board, or play him with a Rockbiter. There are a couple different ways he can do lots of damage for you. And of course, he's worth 6 damage as well, just all on his own. So Alakir is a great finisher option for this deck. And those are kind of the high points of the Overlust Shaman. I would actually now like to take it into a few games and see it in action. We'll talk about mulligans and gameplay decisions and general strategy. So we're going to play this at rank 5 right now. It's exactly halfway through the season at the moment, almost. A little past halfway, I guess. So rank 5 is still pretty competitive. In fact, really competitive. It's all top tier decks at this point still, and a lot of legend level players. So we'll get to see this in a really true test of its value as a laddering style deck. And I should note that the real advantage of this deck, I think, is that no one expects anything but an aggressive shaman. Aggressive shamans are all over the ladder. So playing something like this is going to catch people off guard, particularly if you still open with Tunnel Trog and Totem Golem. They can expend their resources and start playing in a really hyper-defensive way that ends up being inefficient and allows you to pull ahead in the mid-game when you start dropping stuff that has actual value instead of just burst damage. So here, we don't care about Rockbiter early. The Priest has only Northshire Cleric, and we're not too worried about that staying alive right off the bat. These are obviously way too late game cards. We're going to keep the Tuskar Totem because we do have the coin, and it might be a nice turn to play if we don't have other stuff to play. So we have the Tunnel Trog here. That's going to signal that we're an aggressive shaman. He's going to be, oh my gosh, I have to defend. And hopefully that will cause some problems. We can actually coin out the Feral Spirit here if he doesn't have an answer for this. He might have like a Shadow Word Pain. Oh, okay. So we'll go ahead and coin this out. And this is going to surprise him probably, but we're actually going to make that trade. We're looking for value with our Tunnel Trog. Remember, we don't necessarily care about damage right now. We just want stuff to stay on the board. So that's probably going to surprise him, but... okay, this is probably where we have to signal that we're not an aggressive shaman deck. We're just making those trades because we didn't have a lot of mana, and we want to be sure to keep stuff on the board. We didn't want any shenanigans happening, so... Priest can do stuff with a minion on the board like Valen's Chosen or Power Word Shield, so we might have denied a play just from doing that. We have an option here. I think we're actually just going to Flame Tongue now and Totem. This is our turn 4 we talked about previously. He's got some decisions to make. We still have a turn 5 option. If I'd played Tuskar that turn, we still would have had a turn 5, but we wouldn't have used all our mana. I just want to get maximum value. Plus, chipping him down is good.
I wield the power.
I'd like to kill that, but I don't want to sack 2 minions into it right now. Turn 6, he can Light Bomb, but that kills his own minion. So I think we're just going to Feral Spirit and Hero Power. We could Tuskar Hero Power, but I don't want to have to Feral Spirit next turn and delay my Dr. Boom from the Overload. I'd rather eat the Overload this turn than next turn. And we're just going to ignore that for now. Light Bomb doesn't punish that hard because it wouldn't kill any of our minions. Holy Nova doesn't punish that hard because he doesn't have spell power. So his AoE clears right now are not good, and if we can't use a Bloodlust next turn, but if we could, we would almost certainly kill him. Alright, so that's a pretty weak play for him. We're okay with that. We actually might Lightning Storm here since we do have the Spell Power Totem and a kind of spare turn while loading up Boom. And we would hope that it rolls high. Otherwise, we would have to sack our Zombie Chow, probably. Actually, that might be better. We have 6 damage on board. This is worth 4. We're going to go ahead and sack the Zombie Chow now. We're going to do it here. This is pretty far left to be playing a Flame Tongue Totem, I realize, but unfortunately I need this to have at least 3 attack to kill this, and I need this to have 4 attack to kill that. And we have the Healing Totem to heal here, so we're not worried about that. So Bloodlust will be lethal here. It'll be 18 damage plus, damage on board. So we would really love a Bloodlust if he can't clear. Lightning Bomb got a little better because of our Flame Tongue Totem, but... Light Bomb, not Lightning Bomb. That's twice he's made that play. That's a pretty strong answer to Flame Tongue. Okay, so Bloodlust is not lethal. It's kind of is unfortunate. It's really hard to play Dr. Boom right now because the board is full. We could Tuskar Lightning Storm, but I don't know. This Dragon Priest is probably going to have other targets for Lightning Storm in the future. We could Fire Elemental and just trade one of our wolves in, which I think is the superior play to me. I'm killing this wolf instead of this one to get our totems all next to each other. I know we don't have Flame Tongue Totem anymore to make that relevant, but if we did, that would be an important thing to do. So that's just a good practice and something to note. Okay, so that won't be used on Dr. Boom. Ugh, I don't really have a good way to kill that right now. I think we're just going to Boom. We're not going to trade here. We'll force him to do that. Otherwise, it gets to attack twice. It attacks when we attack, and it is able to kill both our taunts. As it stands right now, it can only kill one taunt. Oh, I wish we had a Bloodlust. This game would probably be over already by now. Second death. That's unfortunate. He had both there. Surprised he kept those. Those were the worst possible Boom bots. Both to face for 1. Just awful.
Did you bring some fish?
I'd really like to get a Taunt Totem out here. I was gonna just play these two. Load the board back up since he's used Light Bomb and Holy Nova. But man. Sure would be nice to get a Taunt Totem out. Maybe I try. Oh, cool. And I'm going to stick this one over here for now. I know it kind of interrupts, but we need a minion over here for balance. Because he's going to have to kill this, so we want something to get the buff. We didn't really get to control our Flame Tongue placement, so... Our hand is pretty weak. We really need an Azure Drake. Or some kind of draw soon. I would have loved a Manatide Totem off of one of these. So Bloodlust still could potentially be lethal in combat with Lightning Storm. I'd have to do the math. Light Bomb again, interesting. The Flame Tongue Totem actually makes Light Bomb significantly worse for us. Okay, so that's a good draw. That's also a great draw. We're going to be able to trade here, almost. Actually, we will be able to trade with Rock Biter. This takes it to 4. It's unfortunate that this didn't allow us to do that. I guess at this point, minion placement's really pretty irrelevant. We've used both Tuskars and both Flame Tongues. So we don't have a lot in our hand. We can answer one big threat if he has like a dragon. Some kind of nasty dragon. Nefarian or something. This might be an okay lightning storm. It's probably not great though. Let's see. I think we have to because we just don't have another play. Oh, that made it a lot better. Wow. Now we can guarantee that this is the kill. Or, I mean, we can guarantee the kill. An Alakir here would be really nice. That would be 12 damage in combo with a Rock Biter. Bloodlust is still going to be good. He's almost out of AoEs. Maybe another Holy Nova. Priest, by the way. Okay, so Hex is going to be perfect here. Goodness. We don't have lethal after the Hex. Almost. We can keep both these spell power minions alive. We're going to be close to lethal. We have 8 plus 7 on board. It's 15. He'll heal to 16 probably, though. But anyway, I was saying Priest is historically a terrible matchup for Shaman just because they have so much AoE clear. So being able to get a win here would definitely feel great. Okay, so he's just digging through his deck.
Are you mocking me?
That's a little annoying. It might deny our lethal, depending on what we draw here. Another Hex. I could Hex this Azure Drake, but I don't totally love that play. But it does again put us a little closer to lethal, perhaps. I think we have to. He has a couple threats left, but probably not a ton. We saw both Twilight Guardians and both Wormrest. So we should be able to hit the face here pretty soon. And let's see, we've got 2 Bloodlust, we've got an Alakir. We've also got a couple Haunted Creepers, which are dead draws. But we have, probably a 4 in 10 chance to draw something that's going to kill him. Lightning Bolt, Alakir, double Bloodlust. He's going to steal that. That's unfortunate. Okay, that's got to be lethal. Let's just double check. It's times 3 times our minions, so we've got 5 minions times 3 is 15, 18, 19, plus another 7. It's lethal times 47, I think. Okay, so good win. Saw the deck in action beautifully. Got a little scary there in the mid. We got a really timely Azure Drake to refill our hand by a card. That Azure Drake into that Ancestral Knowledge was totally clutch. Without that, we would have ran out of gas and lost the game. But that's why those cards are in there, so... As long as you get something in the first half of the game, you should probably be okay. Turn 10, 12, you'll need some resources. So another Priest. That's unfortunate. I'd like to see some diversity. These are cards we don't want. We want minions. This is way too late. They probably don't run anything scary enough for us to need a Hex right away. That's great. The Azure Drake's good because we know we'll have some options, and it's just tough for Priest to deal with an Azure Drake. And we have a nice solid set of minions. We might Totem Golem on 2 and Haunted Creeper on 3. If we do it the other way around, we get the Raw for turn 4. I take that back. I'd rather Totemic on 3 and Totem Golem on 4 perhaps, but we'll see what happens. I do this because I think it's better to get minions out early against Priests, and late it's less likely they've developed or drawn AoE, and they can't afford to cast AoE yet, so we're probably more likely to get value out of multiple minions early than late, instead of putting one big body out. Plus, if this draws us something like a Mana Tide Totem, it might just win us the game on card draw value. Okay, so that's not super awesome, but it's alright. Everybody's a good body in this deck just because of Bloodlust. And this is such a great minion for Bloodlust too.
Death does not scare me.
That's annoying. We have 6 damage on the board. Oh, perfect. That is just ideal. But we're going to have to trade our whole board in, unfortunately. But if we get a good minion out of this, it could totally be worth it. It's not a good minion, but it's okay. That worked out well. We're not going to be player Azure next turn, but we had to get something out more than just a hero power. Hopefully we get a nice play or we can hex something of value. But probably not on turn 4. Twilight Guardian will be a problem, but I don't know if it's hexable. Just because we're low on resources. An Overload card would be great. Lightning Bolt, something like that. Well, Lightning Bolt wouldn't be great. I'd rather have a minion. Tusker Totemic or something of that nature. He's not a Dragon Priest anyway. He's a just Control Priest, Entomb Control Priest. So he's not going to have anything to entomb beyond... That's an interesting play. That didn't feel that good to me, but what do I know? Oh, we're going to put this one here. In hero power. We're probably gonna get Holy Nova this turn. That's the setup. But we have minions on the board still if he does, so it's not that bad. We can still put out quite a bit. He's gonna Light Bomb instead? What's he doing here? Oh, Shadow Priest. I'm not sure I'd have stole that one if I'm him. I might have stole something with a body, but it's probably right. I think we have to ignore that, unfortunately. It sets our Drake up to die, but we have stuff to kill it next turn still. And I don't want to have to, you know, send 3 minions in. Makes us a little weaker to heal, but we don't care about that too much. We're not trying to kill him that quickly, and he left us a really nice, easy trade. Flame Tongue's actually pretty good here, because we can trade. But I hate not playing Boom on curve. We'd leave the Refreshment Vendor out, but we'd also be able to do a little bit of face damage if we played Boom on curve. He's probably going to entomb it if I do, but I'd rather have a 7 mana entomb because he floats a mana, and he leaves some boom bots on the board probably, which means Bloodlust Flame Tongue could be lethal next turn. Of course we don't have Bloodlust yet, but it'd be nice to get that. If he has Death for our boom, it's a little worse because he has more mana to develop, but he's gonna make this trade. Yeah, see, that's more unfortunate. We can Flame Tongue our boom bots. That's pretty good. Is Alakir any better? Alakir, boom bot. Hope the Refreshment Vendor dies. He's already used Shadow Madness, and he's used a Cabal Shadow Priest.
I wonder.
It's probably not bad, but I'd rather just Flame Tongue now and potentially be able to use Alakir with the Flame Tongue next turn. Oh, that worked out well. That's ideal for us. I'm sending in the Boombot instead of the Spell Power Totem. Specifically because I know I have Alakir next turn. If I drew a Lightning Bolt, Alakir Lightning Bolt's probably going to be lethal. Okay, that's pretty good defensively for him, but I can't feel that great to, This is so awkward. Man. Really, really awkward. That is the perfect minion. He must have got that off the museum curator. I can Alakir into it, just sack my board, but it's a 3/4 Alakir that doesn't do anything. That feels so bad. I could just lightning bolt it, I guess. I lose both of those minions, but what else can I do? That's a bad turn. I would have loved Fire Elemental or something valuable. Bloodlust is still pretty scary for him. We got hexes. We're okay. It's just that was a weak turn. No 4-drops. What happens? Hex is going to be good here. Hex trade, probably. Maybe not, though. What's Bloodlust? It's 3 times 4 is 12. 14 is not enough. Just gonna Hex. Actually gonna go face first. No, that's not true. I was thinking about going face first to do 2 extra damage, but I don't want that, the frog taunt to deny a potential Alakir next turn, so I'm gonna be sure to kill the frog taunt. If he ignores... Oh, that is so fortunate for us. Wow. Holy Nova still beats us pretty hard, but if he doesn't clear this board, Bloodlust is going to be worth 12 again. Something else happens, you know, we're getting really close to lethal. Double Bloodlust or something. He's probably just going to clear, though. Holy Nova, but he's got to feel bad Holy Novaing 3 totems and 2 spiders. Is he going to steal that? He Shadow Word Pained a stone. That is so good when we have Alakir the Windlord. Wow. I can't believe how good that is. I think we can just play a naked Alakir now.
Hope you like my invention.
Wow. He Shadow Word Pained that. Huh. I think that means he doesn't have another, right? I'm going to feel really sad if Alakir gets Shadow Word Pain, but we have to play something soon. Bloodlust here would be 9, but you also get another 3 for Alakir. It would be 12. It wouldn't be enough. So Entomb, okay. It's kind of sad, but he can't really do as much with it as we can, so it's not that bad. We need something to do. That's pretty good, actually. I'd like to kill this, obviously, but I'd have to use the lightning bolt to do it. Actually, let me roll my totem first. Spell power could change my decision. I'm gonna have to use it on this one. This is still denying this here. It's gonna heal the 2, but I can't leave both minions up just because I don't want to lose this totem to the Novice Engineer. Obviously, this would be the higher priority target to hit, but it does 3, not 4. So we have 7 plus 9 is 16 damage. We have 19 damage in hand. It's not enough yet. We need to hit him a couple more times. I'm curious what he's going to use here. Oh, he's playing a really defensive deck. It's okay. I'm gonna roll our totem first. That doesn't change our decision. We're still gonna clear his board here. We have the healing totem, so trades get a little more valuable for us. Alright, he's actually hitting the danger zone here soon. Just because we have 7, 8 damage plus 15's 23. Still not dead, man. Those heals. He's heal botted, he's Earthen Ring Farseered. But he's trading a lot of value for it, so he might be okay. Double Bloodlust still wins. We have a Hex still. We're not in a bad spot.
I wonder.
Oh, Zombie Chow, that is a weak play. Bran? What could he play here that mattered with Bran? I don't know if he can. He doesn't have any health to heal. Double Silence? That doesn't feel very good, I bet. Alright. So we don't have lethal. We have 7, 8 plus 15 is not lethal. It's 23, so that means we have to do some trading here. We killed a Bran just to prevent shenanigans. I don't actually know that he's got any shenanigans available. And we're just going to fill up our board. 7 minions is 21 damage with Bloodlust, plus 10, 11, 12 on hand, so we have 33 damage if he doesn't kill anything. He could kill this one, which would still leave us with 30, I think. We'll do the math again to be sure, but he might be in trouble here. Yeah, we might just have him. Let's count here. Oh, I think that does it for sure. So 6, 7, 9, 11, 12, plus 18 is 30 exactly. Plus the Rock Batter for extra. In case we messed up the math. Exact lethal. Okay, so Shaman has beaten 2 priests in a row. That's pretty fantastic. Climbing the ladder on the Pinpingho Overlust Shaman. I'd like to play one more game just to see if we can get something besides a priest. And this deck has been really fun so far. I've been playing a lot of the aggressive Overload Shaman, and that's fun, but it's not very rewarding, because wins, you just feel like you scraped by and stole a win from someone. And losses, you feel like you never had a chance. So it doesn't feel like you're really playing the game so much as just kind of exploiting an insanely overpowered deck. This deck feels like you're playing the game. And we're matched up against Zeratul. Man. You don't know Zeratul, of course. He is a StarCraft character of fame. So here, of course, we're sending back the Alakir. I actually like Zombie Chow into Coin, Tuskar into Feral Spirit as a curve, since we have the coin. So I'm pretty happy to keep these. I don't think I need anything more. Depending on what kind of Warlock this is, if he's like a Reno Warlock and has Hellfire, we could get really hardcore punished. But we actually now have a turn, well, not a turn 4 because of the overload, but we'll be able to fill some gaps. We might save the coin if...
Buying or selling.
So it does look like it could be a Reno Handlock. Could still be Zoo. Probably not, though, with that start. We're actually pretty okay with Reno Handlocks. Much better than the Overload style Shaman. Because they kind of rely on doing 10 to 12 points of burst damage, or, you know, a smaller amount of burst damage. So they have to, like, get them down to 15, get them down to 8, then kill them in one turn. This deck really is more about, we can actually kill you from 30, like we just did last game, so we're not as threatened by Reno Jackson, because we still value board control, we're making smart trades, so we're not dumping all our resources into a last-ditch win. Oh, so this actually does look like Zoo. Intriguing. I think I'm gonna coin Feral again, just to make this trade. So that leaves us in such a good spot on the board. Plus, no, I guess he knows we're not aggressive Shaman because we played Zombie Chow. But we have a play for next turn, and the turn after here, and the turn after. So our curve actually looks really nice. We can make some smart trades here, probably. It looks like, got a little worse. I may just lightning bolt here. Oh yeah, definitely with that. Since we know this is Zoo, we're not gonna make an awkward trade, I don't think. We're gonna force him to make the awkward trade and start chipping him down. It leaves us with a less ideal turn 6, but an Azure Drake is gonna fit fine because of the overload. I liked the spell power lightning bolt option, but the board dictated otherwise. We could actually Tuskar hero power if we see a Bloodlust, just because we think it can win us the game next turn. But we'll see what he does first. These taunts are going to be pretty good at denying a lot of stuff. He's going to look for a Mortal Coil and kill one of these, maybe. I don't think he got it, or he would have already picked it. Yeah, he did get it. That's kind of annoying, but... Oh, Lightning Storm is going to be great. We might actually save our Azure Drake just for the Lightning Storm. Because we've still got a good play here. Puts us on a Bloodlust lethal draw, too. Oh, that's going to be great, too. We've got to turn 7, but we might have to clear some of our board off. Might just Lightning Storm hero power, depending on what he plays. Yeah, I think I will. He's really loading up. Keep loading up. Perfect. Oh, this Lightning Storm is going to be brutal to him. I wish we had a better follow-up than we do, but... So we're going to pop that open. We're going to pop this shield off. Then we're going to guaranteed kill. He's going to have one imp that we'll have to kill here, unfortunately, but... It's not too bad. Trying to... I could sack my totem, but I'm trying to decide which totem I want. Do I want this one again, or do I want a different one again? I think I'd rather have a taunt totem. So I want to... Well, I did that backwards, so I don't have a taunt totem. I shouldn't have... Oh, that one's actually probably the best one. Let me explain the line of thinking there. If I killed off my 1-1, I had a higher chance of getting the 1-1 again and a lower chance of getting any other totem. So I should have totemed hero powered first before killing off the totem to get the taunt totem. In hindsight, the healing totem's actually best, so it didn't necessarily matter, but I should have hero powered first either way. Huh. Oh, double Doomguard. That's unfortunate for him. That's really rough. I think I have to save the Hex. The Azure Drake trades into this, okay. It's not ideal, but we're at 30, so we have some time. He can make this trade, but he goes to 14. We have Bloodlust. He might just be dead. If he does that, he goes to 12. He'd be maybe 2 off. Sea Giant or something. I didn't use the Hex because I was afraid of a Sea Giant, perhaps. And see, we can handle that. We cannot handle the Sea Giant. Just gonna go face. It's okay. Is this lethal? We do 9. No, it's not lethal. It's 9, 10, 13 damage. If he traded that way, it would have been lethal exactly. So we're just gonna do this. We're gonna kill one of these because we're in no hurry to do 1 point of damage to the face. We have such a huge board that this almost has to be lethal. I can't imagine what he does to get out of this.
We must cleanse the Sunwell.
Yeah, that won't do it. He knows he's dead. He's committing Sudoku. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. The Pinpingho Overlust Shaman. 3-0 so far. Really fantastic deck. This is probably the perfect time to play a strong alternative Shaman deck, just because everyone and their brother is expecting a super hyper aggressive face deck, so they're going to mulligan for that, and they're going to play the first couple turns for that, which means they can be inefficient and have a bad hand for what you actually are, which is a mid-range deck with some pretty crazy late-game burst. So there you've seen the Pinpingho Overlust Shaman. I encourage you to try this deck out. You can see it's quite a bit of fun and also very competitive. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the bottom. I'll happily answer them. And until next time, game on.